Hey, thanks so much for finding the video. Do us a favor. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe. Be sure to leave your comment. We love to interact. Enjoy the video. So Mickey Loomis was a guest on the Adam Sheen podcast on SiriusXM. And Loomis kind of went deep dive into, or part of the conversation went deep dive into the quarterback battle. Now, if you have followed this show for any length of time, you know that I have been the guy at the forefront. Like literally, I went and looked this up. It was more than a year ago when Jameis Winston was first released by Tampa that I said, I'm looking at the video right here, that I said this was March 22nd of 2020. I was sitting in my home office and I uploaded this to YouTube. Here it is. Me wearing a throwback MTV shirt. Oh, you can't see it. That's okay, Paul. And I said the whole premise was the Saints should sign Jameis Winston. That was last March. And the whole premise, was the Teddy Bridgewater deal. Sign him to a one-year deal. You get him super affordable. It's a guy who's been a proven starter. Maybe he comes here, learns, becomes the heir apparent to Drew Brees. And I even said in that video, I expect you to mock me. I expect you to mock me. And some of you did. And I'll be damned, they signed him. They signed him. And then when Drew Brees elected to retire, and we're all talking about possibilities, I'm telling you, I'd be open to whatever possibility if you had the opportunity at a Russell Wilson or an Aaron Rodgers or any of those guys. The point I've made for months and months and months and months and months about Jameis Winston is his whole life he's been great. This humbled him. He was cut. He, instead of caving, instead of going Ryan Leaf, instead of going Jamarcus Russell, what he did was he humbled himself. He said, I'm getting a Harvard education in quarterback. I'm going to learn from Drew Brees, from Sean Payton. He sat on the sideline. He kept his mouth shut. He was a great teammate. He cheered on the guys. He lost. We went vegan, got himself in the best shape of his life, had LASIK, fixed his eyes. He's a husband and a father now. I believe a guy that is ready to take his elite physical talent, which was good enough to make him a two-way star at Florida State, the number one pick in the draft, the first ever freshman to win the Heisman Trophy, and I guess he was after Manziel, right? Because Manziel won it as a redshirt freshman in 2012, and then Jameis won it the next year. Anyway, point being, I think he's ready to take that leap. But the Saints have invested an awful lot of money into Taysom Hill, as we know. And I love Taysom Hill. I feel like I always have to preface this conversation by saying, I love Taysom Hill. I think Taysom Hill is an awesome part of what the Saints do. Sean Payton has taken this very rare talent with this diverse skill set and made him into the new age the new age Cordell Stewart. He can throw it, sort of. He can catch it. He can block. He can run it. He can block punts. Like, that role that Taysom Hill fills is very valuable, and it's why the Saints gave him a big deal. But he's never going to be the starting quarterback. We saw that last year. Even when they tried to let him start, and you all pointed and laughed at me, you saw the results. The guy's deep ball looks like a high school punt. The guy can't throw. He's never going to be an NFL quarterback. But it feels like Mickey Loomis and the powers that be with the Saints have to go through this charade of talking about the possibility of Taysom Hill. And this is what Mickey Loomis was talking about on this Adam Sheen podcast.
Look, he's a tremendous athlete. Number one, he's got tremendous arm. He's got tremendous speed, strength, smart football player. For what he's done for us to date, I think he could be a really top-flight tight end. He can be a top-flight H-back in our league. So, first of all, he's a great football player. But he's got mobility. We've all seen him, run the ball, catch the ball. He can throw it. He's just got a lot of God-given talent. And he's a smart football player as well, and he's got good leadership skills. So we're going to see how all this shakes out, but we're definitely high on Taysom.
Nowhere in that bite did Mickey Loomis say anything about Taysom Hill being a great quarterback. He talked about all the great things that he's good at. Mickey Loomis, that's your Saints GM. Basically, he can be a top-flight tight end. He can be a top-flight H-back. He's a great football player. He's got mobility. We've seen him run. We've seen him catch. He can throw it. He's got God-given talent. He's a smart player, good leadership skills. So we'll see how it all shakes out. And then comes the question about what you expect from Jameis Winston in this quarterback battle.
he's going to be in a competition with Taysom. So, we're really excited and high on Taysom, just as we are on Jameis, and it's going to be interesting to see how that, shakes out. Jameis has been fantastic, and, you have these impressions of guys afar, but when you get him in your building, you really learn a lot about him, and he was just fantastic as a teammate, fantastic representative of the organization. He's a smart football player. He's hardworking, just everything that you would want. And so I'm excited to see how this shakes out.
He finished both bites saying, we'll see how this all shakes out. But it's very clear, without trying to tip his hand, he talked about everything that Taysom Hill can do, but none of them were be a really good quarterback. We all know that Jameis Winston is the quarterback and will be the quarterback of this team. I think the bigger question for this team and the franchise is going to be looking at Taysom Hill not as a quarterback on this team, who's going to fill the role that you very much need him to fill, right? But when you look at Taysom Hill's contract, that's where I get to the bigger question it's going to come for Taysom Hill. He signed the big 4-year, $140 million contract, but it's hard to imagine Taysom getting through that deal in total. He's guaranteed $12 million at signing, and when you look at how they structured it in the restructured deal, you're looking at this year with a cap hit of $7.25 million, and next year, 2022, of $8.9 million, with a dead cap hit of 8.9. So you're going to have a very sincere decision that you're going to have to make about Taysom Hill after this season, because you're on the hook financially, and is he willing to stay and fill that role after 2021? Or if he's really serious about trying to be a quarterback somewhere else, the Saints in the next offseason are going to have a real decision to make and a real potential issue on their hand with Taysom Hill if he's not willing to conform and be this slash role moving forward. But the thing that's for certain, Jameis Winston is going to be your starting quarterback, and I think Taysom Hill can be an extremely valuable piece of this offense as they move on post-Breeze, with a dynamic guy like that as a weapon to complement what they do as Jameis grows into that role as the leader of this team. Of course, they're also going to have Mike Thomas back and hopefully fully healthy for an entire season this year. And man, people are completely sleeping on Mike Thomas and how good he was 2 years ago and how he vanished this year because he was hurt all season. But Mickey Loomis did talk on the Adam Sheen podcast about expectations for Mike Thomas in 2021.
Well, look, Michael was only limited by, the fact that he got injured. Look, that happens sometimes in our league. It happens. It took longer to heal from that than I think any of us expected. He had some setbacks, and Michael as a football player hasn't changed. So when Mike's healthy, we're going to get the 2019 version of Mike Thomas. I'm supremely confident.
Mickey Loomis again on the Adam Sheen podcast. Saints a little more than a month away from the preseason opener in Baltimore. We'll start to look at a new era of Saints football. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.